Good morning, people. Today's video is going to be a bit different. This week, we're going to do a comparison video between vertical boosters and hover engines. The reason I'm doing this is the last video that was made by Stormsteel was made quite a while ago, and I want to go over some of the not so recent but recent to that video changes to elements like these, and just to give kind of an overview and list the pros and cons between hover engines and vertical boosters, right? It's for a new player or somebody that's not really looked into it, can be quite, so personally, when I first started playing, I tried to land on a moon with hover engines. I think there's a lot of people that have done that, and hopefully this will help people avoid that kind of crash ever happening. So what we'll do is we'll go over the pros and cons for each, and then I'll give my own personal opinion on which one I would prefer to use more often than not. And yeah, but first we'll cover the pros and the cons for vertical boosters, as there's more pros to vertical boosters than not. But for the first one, it's probably quite obvious in a way, is that they just look better. Like, I don't know. I just think vertical boosters look so much nicer than hover engines do. And plus they're a lot easier to fit in a ship because they're so flat. Yes, they are square, but that's much easier to fit on a ship, especially with them being this thin. They make about twice as much power as a flat hover engine does. I'm not really going to go over the lower sizes. The only reason because is they're a different shape. That could also be a pro, especially for compactable ships and things like that. But what you'll find is that it's a lot easier to fit a vertical booster on a ship, and then call it done. Especially for a hauler, they make a lot of power, so it's very easy to have enough low altitude lift when you're using vertical boosters. They come in all sizes, so hover engines only go from S to L, whereas vertical boosters go from XS to L. That's great. So then you've got more, what's the word? You've got more range, and you can use different sizes in different places. Like the ship that I sell, or Revo sells, my organization, called the Orweaver. It uses 1 large and 8 mediums, so that's great. It pushes out enough power to do a kiloton, maybe a bit more. Another thing that's really great about vertical boosters is that they work in both Atmo and in space. So landing on moons is not an issue. Landing on a space station, you're all good there. Another thing, which you might not really think about unless you really want to think about it, but because they put out so much power, and they use space fuel, so they don't use Atmo fuel. So if your Atmo fuel tank runs out, you can still kind of move. Yeah, it's more of a limp. But if you tilt your ship down a little bit and then like tap space over and over, it creates like a bottom thrust pushing towards the ground. So you can like move forwards, yeah, albeit very slowly, but you can still move. But the bad things about vertical boosters, there's an elephant in the room. Most people know what it is, and that's why most people turn their nose up at vertical boosters, and that is how much fuel they use. They use a lot of fuel, and you can't use them on compactable ships because they use space fuel. So if I just inspect here, you'll see that it makes 3.24 million newtons of power. No warm-up time, of course, but it works in both Atmo and space. But the fuel consumption on a vertical booster, a basic L, is 5,832 liters. Now, if you don't know what to compare that to, you've got that, and then once you check out a hover engine, yes, 1.8, a lot lower, only works in atmosphere, but it only uses 65 liters an hour of fuel. So that's a huge difference, massive difference. Honestly, the way I feel about it is I'll only ever use a flat hover, or any kind of hover engine on a ship that's either Atmo only. I can fit flat hover engines on it, or a compactable ship. Everything else uses vertical boosters. I find it way more. I just gave my final opinion. Okay, well, I'll keep going over it just for anybody that still wanting to know. But yeah, like I said before, vertical boosters can't use them on compactables, so it's not great. But hover engines, the pros for hover engines, and this is a big one. This is a make or break for most people. Is you've got the fuel efficiency. That's great. We already know about that. We've already got compactable. You can use them on compactable ships, but it's the all different shapes and sizes. So they range quite a bit. So the flat hover engine is usually most people's go-to for a hauler, but the small variant or the medium variant is usually what people would go for like a warp shuttle, or a compactable ship. The bad things about hover engines is they take up lots of space. So you can see that a hover engine is, it looks smaller, but it's a lot thicker. So you've got to either have it sticking out and it looks not nice, or you've got to put it in and then you're losing like 4 voxel thick worth of space on the inside underneath your ship. And if you're working with a small ship, that can be quite a lot. They make less power, so you need more. Another thing is, so flat hover, well, any hover engine in general, you can't use them in space, which makes sense. It makes complete sense. It goes off atmospheric fuel. But yeah, don't work in space. I've made the issue. I've made the mistake before. It wasn't great, and it was very embarrassing. And yeah, there's no extra small size. So pretty much, it was a quick video, but there's your answer. Really, I always tend to go for vertical boosters, just because of the amount of power they put out and how easy it is to fit them in any build, really. But yeah, if you like the video, please like, subscribe. I stream on Twitch most days through the week. If you give me a follow over there, and then you'll get notifications when I next come live. And yeah, I hope everybody has a good day. Thank you for watching.